Welcome back, joined by Lieutenant Aaron Turcott of the Maine State Police. Thank you so much for coming through. You see it here. We are preparing for the Great American Eclipse, and we wanted to have you here to talk with us a little bit about safety. Where should we start? We're talking about maybe how we should operate our vehicles while the eclipse is leading up to and perhaps happening.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of considerations that we have to think about. Number one, we don't know how many visitors we're going to have. Hopefully, it's a lot, but we don't want too many, right? Because our roadway systems. But first of all, we want everybody to have a plan. Right? Know what they're going to be doing on April 8th and be prepared after they've developed that plan. And so from a state police highway traffic safety perspective, we want you to maintain and follow all the rules and regulations. There's probably going to be more traffic than we've seen here. I don't want to say in our lifetimes, but maybe in our careers. And so while the state police is beefing up, we need motorists to be kind of following the laws and being prepared. So
does that, making a plan, I guess that would start with getting to where you're going to be and staying there while this all plays out? Yeah,
right. So, it's one of these things where if you have that plan and you know where you're going to go, you need to think about how many other people are thinking about that same area, right? So do you want to plan to get up there maybe the night before, maybe a few nights before, and then is your plan to leave right after the, totality, which remember, you have to think about congestion. What are some of those roads going to look like? We know there's some big hot spots between the Rangeley Lakes area, Millinocket area, and Holton. Those are going to be some pretty unique spots where a lot of people are going to travel those roads. So I think having that plan, knowing are you going to be leaving the next day, right, when there's less traffic on main roadways, but it is about kind of finding your location. And it's Maine, too, so we just got dumped on last weekend. So right. Some of these rural areas that you thought, well, maybe I could sneak up through some of these roads, those roads might not be passable. So be prepared with plenty of fuel, because we don't know if some of these gas stations in rural Maine may run out of fuel. So be prepared, have fuel, water, food, cell phone chargers, things like that in case there is an emergency or you're stuck in traffic for long periods of time. So that's kind of part of that planning process that we should all be having right now.
Of course, distracted driving. We talk about cell phones or other things that can distract you in a vehicle. Also, the eclipse is playing out, or the glasses that you wear to protect you from the eclipse. We got to be careful with those too.
Right. So, put your phones down. Drive and respect the rules, right? And with a lot of other traffic on the road, is one thing we don't want to do is, while those glasses may seem like they're pretty cool, they're definitely cool when you want to look up and see the totality. However, driving and while those are on, they're not going to mix well, right? Because that's going to throw your perception off. So as cool as it might feel to put them on while you're driving to come up here to the eclipse, just put them down until the actual totality starts.
And of course, I'm still working towards my medical doctorate, but let's just say, let's not stare at the sun.
Yes, I agree. Let's not stare at the sun. And I'm not an ophthalmologist either, but I would say it's bad for your eyes.
Okay. Anything else you want to get out there? You are preparing for just an influx of visitors to the state, as we are in the path of totality. So just be prepared for all that entails.
Yeah, be prepared, and then also with that, have a backup plan too. What if this happens? So if you're planning ahead and you have all those checked off, you should be okay. And the one thing I'll say is there's a lot of really neat events going on in the state. The state's pushing a lot of events from Holton down to Rangeley. Is when you're out having a good time, just make sure we're not going to be drinking and driving. There's going to be a lot of people on main roads. There's probably going to be a lot of pedestrians, maybe even bicyclists, depending on what the weather forecast looks like. So make sure our phones are down and that we're driving sober.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's all enjoy the Great American Eclipse safely. Appreciate your time. Back with more right after.